if your definition of an agent is I'm going to have a fully functioning employee that's going to I'm going to reliably go have them do everything an employee does today, yeah, we're miles and miles away from that. But if your definition is we want to get valuable work done in the enterprise, whatever that is, and even very narrowly defined, and you've heard me say this before, whether it's work we're doing today, work we wish we could get to, or work we haven't even necessarily thought of yet, but get some valuable work done in a world where it requires that non-determinism, that the ability to sort of make some decisions, potentially use some tools. I think we're there. We have in production solutions that are delivering valuable work with companies all over the place. They tend to be very narrow and they need a lot of monitoring, but we're starting. Yes, and I agree, but I agree with the decade concept because I think this is going to continue to expand as we go. So I think his, unsurprisingly, given how smart Karpathy is, I think his expectations or hopes for what an agent is are really big.
Well, I felt like he was trying to. I felt like his perspective was as like an AI scientist. He was in his mind. The model is the LLM is the agent, and was going through all the problems with that. And so I thought, oh yeah. But in the meanwhile, I don't think he was saying, oh, these are not useful or anything like that. I think what he was saying is there's all these gaps to make it truly useful as like an employee you would hire to do a job. And I think that's interesting to me because I think it highlights the difference between where we see a lot of enterprise customers potentially and where things are in the real world. So what I would say is, and he even talks about this. It's sort of funny. He talks about demos. He goes, I don't trust any demo. I had the best demo of the Waymo self-driving you've ever seen in 2014. And, it sort of still doesn't work because there's all these like he talks about the nines you have to get to for these really high risk sort of use cases. And I think what's happened is what I see happen in the enterprise is you see they see these demos and they look amazing. They look awesome, but they're sort of like the Waymo driving demo he had in 2014. And there's all these gaps and all this work that needs to be done to make agents useful. And in his mind, that needs to be done in LLM. And in our world, to get payback today, you have to close those gaps. And that's where a lot of the work, that sort of this gap between the easy demo and productive agent land. And that's a lot of what we're helping folks do.
But it's not a demo when your Tesla takes over and takes the next hour of the interstate for you. That is valuable work, if you will, that it's getting done. It may not get you in the complete drive, and that's sort of where we are with agents. It's a shades of gray discussion, not a black and white discussion. Oh, this thing didn't get me all the way to Chicago without any intervention.
Yeah. Well, clearly, when he talked about when they started with OpenAI and the definition of, what agents do, it was, oh, this thing it is a person effectively in terms of its abilities to do knowledge work, right? In fact, he was even broader than that at the beginning. It's like we reduce it to knowledge work. Before that, it was just like any work.
Right. Physical or
Or
not.
that vision is I can imagine needing a decade to get to a vision that includes all that kind of work. And meanwhile, and he acknowledges there's vast parts of the economy that can be transformed. Even if you even if you take the models that are there today, you can clearly have huge economic impact without new model improvements.